Hello and welcome everyone. I'm inviting you to a class at NeuroGraphica Americas. My name is Lana Shalom. I'm a certified instructor and coach of NeuroGraphica. I have been certified by Pavel Piskaryov and the Institute of Psychology of Creativity. Pavel Piskaryov is the founder of NeuroGraphica. And today I invite you to join me on the variation of Kabbalistic insights and learning with the use of NeuroGraphica. I am inviting you today on the class, and we will be specifically discussing the holiday of Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer is a Jewish holiday. It's actually celebrated today as I am taping this video. I was supposed to have a direct session, but I have no internet. Something happened with my internet and I have no access to having a live session. So since I have everything set up, I figured I'll just I will tape my session and post it as a video for people who were waiting. So we are still going to celebrate. Today is May 23rd. It's Thursday. And in the Jewish tradition, today is a holiday called Lag BaOmer. Lag is an acronym for the letters Lamed and Gimel, which stands for number 33. 33 of Omer. And I will be telling you why 33 of Omer and what does that mean, as we will be discussing, as we will be drawing. Right now, I'd like to tell you what are we drawing and the technique, and then while we're drawing, I'm going to tell you about the holiday and the reason behind it. So what we are drawing today is something that is a symbol of the holiday Lag BaOmer, and it is directly connected to the Sfirot, to the Kabbalistic insight about how a human being is set up and how the human being exists in the world and comes to realize his or her potential by expressing that specific mission that his soul brought to the world, his or her. So the symbol of Lag BaOmer is the fire. Not just a fire, but big, huge fireworks that are customary to conduct on Lag BaOmer. It's the symbol is this humongous in Israel. The specific place where the founder of the holiday and the author of the Zohar, which is one of the main parts of the Kabbalah. His name is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He is buried in the city of Meron, which is in Israel. And in that city, thousands and thousands of people gather and they make one of this humongous, huge fire. They make a bonfire. And we will be discussing later today why bonfire, what is it symbolic of. For now, I invite you to join me and let's start drawing a bonfire. So, right now we will be starting to draw. I will explain to you what we are drawing, and then we will make the list as we usually do. The list of, we'll put a goal for us, and we'll make a list of the items of the goals that we would like to achieve for today's drawing, because as we know, NeuroGraphica is not just art. There are so many aspects to NeuroGraphica. One of them that it's an artistic expression, it's a therapeutic art, but much more than that, one of the main reasons is that NeuroGraphica is a therapeutic, not just a therapeutic art, but it's a coaching method, an artistic coaching method. It helps a person achieve his or her goals. And that's what I explain to most of the clients that come to me for a personal consultation, because NeuroGraphic is something that we can use in the group setting, and also it's something that we can use for coaching, one-on-one coaching, There are also group coaching, like in a business setting. And at NeuroGraphica, excuse me, at NeuroGraphica Americas, we offer that, and we invite you to become, to come and try out NeuroGraphica, not just as a drawing in a classroom, but also as a coaching, one-on-one coaching method that will help you set goals. So what are we doing? So the main algorithm, right? We need to draw a bonfire. What are the aspects of the bonfire? So the bonfire, on the bottom we have the fire, right? What does the shape of the bonfire look like? I'm sure it's pretty evident. You all will tell me that the bonfire looks like, exactly, it looks like a triangle, right? I'm going to show you pictures of bonfire. So here are the pictures of the bonfire on my other iPad. You see how the bonfires are? So what does a bonfire look like? That's right, it looks like the shape of a triangle, a very obvious shape of a triangle, I must say. Look at all the shapes. And as you can see, we will be discussing that as well later today. I mean, actually right now, today. Different shapes of a triangle, right? So this is going to be our algorithm, okay? The bottom will be looking like a triangle. I think I want to use a pen, more comfortable to draw. When you draw as a, you know, as schematic illustration, I like to use a pen, but when you draw the picture itself, it's better to use a marker. So this is a pen, this is the triangle on the bottom, okay? Then what happens with the fire, right? The fire, we will draw, you know, different neurographic lines that will show how the fire goes, okay? Then we will draw the fire itself. How are we going to show the fire? The fire will be like a glow. So the fire is bonfire, symbolic of candles, right? A candlelight. We light candles the Jewish women, most of the time, light the candles every week for Shabbat. And it's symbolic of bringing the light into the world. So on Lag BaOmer, we light a huge bonfire, and it's like collective flames, and it's one big fire. It's connecting the nation, you know, connecting each individual in the nation. It's a unification of the nation. So the flame can be illustrated as a circle, and what we're going to do is we're going to grow the circle, make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Or another option, you know, we can go a circle like this, you know, make it bigger. I will show you the picture. I drew another picture at a live class yesterday. I have an in-person class in Brooklyn, New York, every Wednesday morning in Russian. If you're welcome to join me if you're interested, and welcome to contact me. And we draw, this is the picture that we drew yesterday, just to show you what we are going to make. This is it, okay? This is the triangle on the bottom. The neurographic line that goes through the triangle are the little pieces of wood, the sticks of wood that we use to make that big bonfire, right? And do you see the circle? First it was little, then I make it bigger, 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 and then I made it humongous. That I will show you how to do that. And then we're going to make what? The smoke that comes out of the fire. The smoke that comes out of the fire is something that, you know, the fire came and then it goes further. It turns into a smoke and goes up to the heaven. And that's symbolic, right? Symbolic of the soul that comes into the world. First it's the sticks of wood, and then you make fire. And you bring that energy. Fire is an energy. And then what's left? The physical body goes away, and it's smoke, which is symbolic of the soul that goes up to heaven, goes back to its creator, and, you know, from then on we know how everything works. The soul comes back if necessary. But the point is, this existence in the world is very symbolic through this representation, this visual neurographic representation. The circles that you see on the bottom and on the top are our resources that we will be adding to our picture, because like I said, it's not just a picture, it's a coaching picture. It's a way to get yourself, set some goals for yourself and go toward them. So we will be making a list shortly. I wanted to explain to you a few more things about the algorithm. So there are different types of triangles you can make. Okay. There are different types of triangles that you can draw. Okay. We just saw that in the picture, right? There are triangles like this, right? There are triangles like this. Also, there are triangles which are like this, very low. This is not the triangle we would like to draw in this algorithm because it's very low. We are trying to draw a triangle that gives energy, that's very up and happening. So I am inviting you to draw a triangle. Now, also remember, pay attention that this is not the triangle that's looks sideways, whether this way or that way, right? This is a triangle that's straightforward, meaning 2 points on the bottom and 1 point on top, okay? There are different ways to draw a triangle. This is a perfect triangle because all sides are more or less the same. This also looks like a perfect triangle, where you can make something more pointy like this, where the top is higher than the bottom. You can make the bottom more than the top, but I advise you not to draw something like this because this is very low, and this is not the in our picture, in our algorithm, we are trying to reach some heights. So we're trying to bring energy, and energy will be achieved only by drawing something either tall like this or medium like this, or maybe even shorter but still big enough for the picture. So we are going to start making the triangle very soon. First, as you remember, we always make a list. What is a list? For those of you who are not familiar, if this is your first time or if you don't remember, I will remind you. Before we draw a picture, this is a coaching practice, so we are setting ourselves a goal for this picture. What are we trying to achieve? What is our quest? Where is the topic? Where are we going with this picture? And that's our goal, okay? So what are we doing? I'm going to draw the goal in my book. If you have a drawing pad, I advise you to use it because it's the best effective way to store your pictures and keep track of all the goals that you set for that picture. You can use, of course, a regular paper, but again, I prefer a drawing pad because it has a more professional paper for drawing, and the colors get absorbed better by the drawing pad. Of course, there are different kinds. Do your research, look it up on Google. So let's do the list. What is a list? I'm going to explain to you right now. On top, you're writing your quest, the topic, your goal. Where are you striving to go? This is a coaching practice. What does it mean? Sometimes people, my clients often ask me, my friends often ask me, students, they often ask me, what is the difference between, let's say, a psychologist and a coach? And I explain to them, psychologist is somebody who helps you figure out your past, what happened, why you're upset, why things are not going the right way in your life. What I am suggesting and what coaches do is set a goal for the future and then go toward it. And yes, you will get to work on your past while you're going to your future. You will, whether you want it or not, you will have to deal with your past, right? It's like a saying, everybody has skeletons in their closet. Everybody have a past that is preventing them from achieving a potential, from achieving important goals in their life in the present. But in order to move forward, often people start talking about the past and they just dwell in it. They just stay in the past and they don't move forward. This is not what we're trying to achieve. In this case, we are moving forward. We're setting a goal in the future. Where do you want to go? What is your goal? What is the potential that you would like to bring in the world? And then we're going toward that goal. So my goal I'm going to write is I am planning to give a series of lectures, developing a series of lectures, first and foremost, within the NeuroGraphica America School. By the way, we will be giving the basic user, the English version of the basic user certification in NeuroGraphica. If you, you come and you draw with us, with my colleagues, with me, with my colleagues. But if you would like to learn why are we drawing, what is the purpose of the triangle, purpose of the circle, the purpose of the NeuroGraphic lines, in more details than what I'm telling you. And most importantly, not just the purpose, but how do you sit down if you have an issue in your life? How do you sit down, take a piece of paper and sit down and figure out what can you do to improve the situation in your life using NeuroGraphica? And there are free videos that we have. I have it on my channel. In our NeuroGraphica Americas, we have a lot of videos. Margarita Amrita, I did the circles videos. My other colleagues, we did so many videos where we explain the basics. But I would like to tell you, I drew NeuroGraphica for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, before I actually went to take an official class. Only when I took, and even though I watched tons and tons of free videos that explained what NeuroGraphica is and how to draw it, until I took the full certified class in basic user, I was not aware of what is it that, what is exactly the algorithm, how does it work, what are the steps, how do I go about achieving that state that I need to get to. That can only be achieved when taking a certified course, and it should be only taken from a certified instructor, because a certified instructor spends a lot of time learning how to do it and learning, most importantly, how to explain it to the students. This is very important to note. There are teachers who, I've been to classes where people are wonderful lecturers, but when it came to like teaching and explaining how to do something, they had a hard time getting that knowledge to the students and getting the students to repeat, to acquire the knowledge from them, the teacher. So this is very important. So let's get back. My goal would be to successfully develop and implement series of courses. And it's not just going to be the basic user course, which is the main course, and I advise everybody to take it because it will give you the necessary tools to learn everything you need in your life. And it's also, we'll be doing more series, like I'm planning to do series of Stanislav Grof's mattresses on rebirthing. You know, if you ever heard of it, it's an amazing class where there are 4 sessions, and you know, each session will focus on each of the stages, and we rebirth ourselves through the use of NeuroGraphic. It's an amazing tool, extremely effective, that I advise everybody to take. There will be series of courses on the Sefirot, where he will have 10 sessions, and each session will dwell in detail about what Sefirot are. There is an official algorithm called the 5 elements, about the 5 elements, you know, the Usin, the Chinese medicine, and we will dwell in details talking about each element and how to implement it using NeuroGraphic and to help yourself in life, health-wise and resources-wise. So all of this series we are developing now, and we're planning to implement within the NeuroGraphica America School, and this is my goal. You, of course, sitting down and writing your own goal, whatever it is that you need to achieve professionally, in personal life, whether it's, focus on relationships in your life, whether it's with your spouse or finding a spouse for yourself, with your children, with your parents, with your siblings, anything. This NeuroGraphica is wonderful for using in any kind of setting, any kind of situations. Now, after I put my goal down, what am I doing? I'm going to put a timer. And what I'm going to do is, this is a technique called the list, or where I'm going to write down exactly what am I going, whatever comes to my mind. It's called the thought flow, okay? It's the flow of my thoughts. I'm going to write down, I'm looking at my goal, putting down 2 minutes, and writing down whatever comes to my mind, okay? I would like to watch what I'm doing first. You're gonna see me not putting down my pencil for even a second. My pencil is going to be very busy at work because I'm writing down everything that I'm doing, okay? So I advise you to do the same thing. Okay, 2 minutes goes. The 2 minutes stop, but I have such my thought flow, I'm not stopping. I'm adding myself, giving myself another 1 more minute and finishing my thought flow, okay? This is important because you just started, it just went into the pattern, of flowing. Just let yourself give another minute. Okay, I'm going to stop right now. Okay, so I made my list. What am I doing then? I'm going through my list and circling out whatever is important to me, something that I would like to use as resources in my picture, okay? So it's important to know that we are choosing about between 5 to 9. Maximum is 9. There's no minimum. I would say minimum would be 3 to 5 elements. At least 3 elements. And maximum you can choose is 9 elements. You should not go more than that. And we're going to choose elements and put a number next to them. And then we will start the drawing, okay? If something comes to my mind while I am pointing out and circling out what I need, I'm writing it down. Allow yourself to develop your thought further. This was an important part of that exercise that we did, the list. Okay, so I actually did point out 9 of them. Often what happens, you're going to see it during when you draw the picture. Sometimes the resources shift, sometimes they combine, sometimes they integrate within each other, and sometimes they actually split. So we will start drawing, okay? Let's start the algorithm. We don't have that much time left. Let's start the drawing. So what are we doing in the bottom? Do you remember? The triangle. We will start with the triangle on the bottom, and like I said, different types of triangle you can make. You can make a tall triangle like this, a lower one, and then a perfect one where all the sides are the same. I am inclining toward the perfect like triangle where all the sides are the same. Now another thing I would like to show you in the algorithm of the picture is that something that you should be aware of. Generally, if we're talking about, you know, the way to set goals is that paper usually splits into 3 parts. The bottom part is going to be past, this will label present, and this will be future, okay? This will help you when we set the resources. I will be talking about it more later on. For now, you know, imagine there's a line in the middle of your paper because we're drawing the triangle on the bottom, and there will be the smoke in the top, okay? And the light will be in the middle. It will be unifying both of the parts. Okay, if you want, you can use like a pencil to, like, you know, a lot of people like very nervous. They want a perfect, like, you know, picture. So use a pencil, you know, draw the triangle how you want it, and then you go over with a black marker. Okay, now, so this is a triangle. The triangle is a symbol of the bonfire, but to build a bonfire, what do we need? That's right, we need wooden sticks, right? And when we get the wooden sticks, we're going to use a NeuroGraphic line as a way to symbolize our wooden sticks. Okay, draw some lines and build your bonfire using lines, you know, NeuroGraphic lines. Okay. Okay. Now again, yesterday, let's say I had a different picture. Today it's different. Often we vary our style. Sometimes we stay uniform, and often we vary. Now, once we drew the picture, what we're doing, we are doing step number 1. One of the most important steps is curving out. We are going through each of the pictures and curving out the lines, going over them again. Actually, I thought that I drew it to use the thick marker. Okay. Yeah, yesterday I had a knack. I wanted to draw with a thin marker. Today I'm drawing with a thick marker, and like I mentioned, different styles. Now, while we're curving out, I am advising you to breathe. Focus on your breathing, and also focus on your thought pattern and your emotion pattern, okay? While we're drawing, I will be telling you the story of the holiday of Lag BaOmer, why do we celebrate it, and what are the Kabbalistic stories associated, the Kabbalistic background information on why is it that we celebrate it. Okay, Lag BaOmer is a holiday. It is situated between two major Jewish holidays. One major holiday is the holiday of the Passover that we passed when we had a Seder. Remember, we talked about it. The Passover is actually the beginning of the Jewish New Year. I mean, there are few New Years. One of them is Tishrei, when we celebrate Rosh Hashanah. And Passover is another beginning. And it's customary to go through the Seder to give yourself, so to say, like this way of symbolic beginning of the year. So what are we doing? What happens then? Passover, second day of Passover, we start counting. It's called the Omer. What are we counting? We're counting days and weeks until we get to a different holiday. It's called the holiday of Shavuot. What is Shavuot? Shavuot is the holiday of receiving the Torah. It's when the Jewish nation received the Torah, the holy instruction on how to live this world to achieve ultimate happiness and ultimate achievement of all your mission and your potential in this world. And it was done on Har Sinai, which means the mountain of Sinai. And what happens on Shavuot is, so on Passover, the Jewish nation left Egypt. It was taken out by God. And then they walk in the desert and they prepare. They prepare to become, so to say, worthy. Because it says often on Passover, our sages say that, why did God take us out of Egypt? What did we do to deserve such ultimate chesed? Chesed is a gvura that we talk about that means kindness, unlimited, kindness that has no boundaries. Why did God take us out of Egypt, we say? And the answer is because He loved us, right? Because He or she, because God doesn't have a gender, because God felt love for the Jewish nation and decided to take out of Egypt. And so the question is, what happens then? Once we're taken out of Egypt, what are we doing? We are now working consciously to prepare ourselves for the ultimate gift, the receival of the Torah, the receival of the holy account of God, that instructions. In Judaism, Torah is the instructions to how to live the world, your life, how to live in this world so you achieve ultimate happiness. And how does one prepare spiritually and physically and emotionally for receiving this direct gift from God Almighty? From receiving, because Torah was given by God first on Mount Sinai, and then after 10 words, the nation said, please, Moshe, can you go receive it for us? Because we feel like it is so hard for us to listen to the direct words of God. I mean, it's very striking experience, as you can understand. So there is a way to prepare, and the preparation goes in different aspects. One of the aspects is by counting. Like a child counts for, a child asks, when is my birthday? And they start counting, and they even take a calendar and start crossing out the dates. So this is one way. The Jews counted. It's called Omer. Omer means counting. Now it's interesting that Omer also means a certain kind of measurement in the ancient Israel. And that was a measurement that during the time of the temple in Jerusalem, the Jews would travel on Shavuot and bring a certain measurement of their first agricultural produce, specifically it had to do with the wheat and with the barley. And this was an interesting experience. And so Omer is counting. So one of the way you anticipate something is you count. Another way, exactly like how a child before the birthday party, what does a child do? The child tries to be on their best behavior. The child tries to pay attention, but they act nicely because the mother promised them that very important birthday party, right? And that's what happens with the nation here. The nation kind of starts paying attention. Who are they? What are they? And learning ways to improve oneself spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And one of the major ways to do it is to do it through the system of Sfirot. Sfirot are Kabbalistic ways, Kabbalistic system of how the world came into the existence, how everything in the world exists in a certain pattern, and what Jewish people do with the Jewish nation between the holiday of Pesach and Shavuot. They go through each and every Sfira, and they pay attention and sit down and they look at their character trait and they look at their emotional trait and they think, who am I? What am I? And how can I help myself? How can I help myself improve myself in a way where the receival of the Torah, because Judaism is a transcendental religion. We don't just learn about the receival of the Torah, 3,000 something years ago. We're not just learning. We are experiencing the receival of the Torah every single year, just like we discussed it during the Passover Seder. We're experiencing getting out of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim usually translates as Egypt, but the actual translation of Mitzrayim means in between the two narrow spaces, okay? Escaping narrow spaces. So every person in their life goes through the process of escaping the narrow spaces, and that's how it works. And every Passover, that's the process we undergo. And the same thing happens on the Shavuot. Every single Jew receives the Torah, and everybody do it on their own personal level, personal way. And one of the ways to do it is by going through the Sfirot. So what the word Shavuot means, the exact translation of the word Shavuot means weeks. So the word week in Hebrew means Sheva. Sheva is comes from the word Sheva, which is 7. So the word week, a week, in Hebrew would mean a week, and it also means 7. Literally, so it's basically letting you know that a week is 7 days. And it's very interesting to know that the anthropologists have studied, all the newly found aborigines, whenever they discovered it in New Zealand originally many years ago. And although even like the most primitive, human tribes and everything, human like communities, and they realize that everywhere, in any settings, the human mostly celebrate week for them, going to celebrate a week, I'm sorry, somebody left me a message. So they all have their timely way, the way they bring out a week is always 7. There's no 8 days, there's no, the way the concept of time, the way it's carried out, it's always carried out in numbers of 7. And we know that from the ultimate, creation, the way God created the world was creation within the 6 days, and then the 7 days was, the kind of the conclusion of the creation, and it was Shabbat, we call it in Judaism. In many different religions, there are different concepts. In Islam, they celebrate Friday as the concluding day. Well, one way or another, they all have the concept of the 7 days as a way, as a time measurement. This is very interesting. I wanted to let you know. So in Hebrew, the word the week actually means 7, and it refers to the 7 days of creation. And it's interesting to know that there is exactly 49 days between the holiday of Pesach and Passover and Shavuot. And the last day when Shavuot actually occurs is the 50th days. We all know a lot of people who are, psychologists and coaches and healers. They know the magic of the number 49. It's a magical number. It's actually the ultimate number if you want to achieve some kind of perfection in any state, in any kind of, any kind of personal goals. If you want to set something a goal, like if you want to achieve a perfect habit, you are number 49 is a kind of like a magical number, because if you do something, there's number 21 and there's number 49. If you do something for 21 days, the habit sets down. And also, if you want to make sure you're going to practice and it will be a part of you, not just on a physical level, or a mental, like a habit, but also it will integrate and become an actual part of you. You do it for 49 days. And the 50th days, we know it's called Jubilee, right? Is when you will achieve that status of the perfect, like spiritual balance and achievement. So this is what I am, I'm almost done carrying out curving out. So the word Shavuot, as we said, the word Shavua means, from the word Shava means a week. Shavua is a week, and Shavuot means weeks. But also we said that the week is based on the number Sheva, which is 7. So really, Shavuot also means 7 weeks, right? This is like a wonderful play on words, and I'm going to tell you, if you start studying the Hebrew language, it's absolutely amazing how a lot of things, almost everything in the Hebrew language, has that meaning where, like one word can mean so many different things. And Shavuot is one of those. So on Shavuot, Shavuot is when we are celebrating 7 weeks that are passed from the holiday of Pesach to the holiday of Shavuot. 7 weeks exactly. And what is the 7 weeks reference to? It's reference to the 7 Sefirot. We know there are 10 Sefirot. The 3 Sefirot are upper Sefirot. They only belong in the spiritual world. And there are 7 Sefirot that are, so to say, expressed, that are brought out in the physical world. Meaning those Sefirot, of course, are very spiritual, but we can bring them into existence. We can carry them out into the physical world. And the Sefirot, we will be actually having a whole series of classes among all of the Sefirot. And the interesting part about Shavuot, which is 7 weeks, is that each week we study one of the 7 Sefirot. But since we have, each week is 7 days, during each Sefirah, we go and we do a deeper, in-depth analysis of each Sefirah that we are undertaking through our body and through our mind and emotions and, of course, spirituality. And each day of the week, we focus on, again, each of the Sefirot. So basically, let's say the Sphira of Chesed, which is unlimited kindness. The first day of the week of Chesed will be Chesed Shebe Chesed, meaning the Sphira of Chesed inside the Sphira of Chesed. The second day will be the Sphira of Gvura, which is boundaries, discipline, inside the Sphira of Chesed. And you have to figure out, how does two combine? How do you become kind, yet you give yourself boundaries? How does one prevail in kindness over boundaries, or boundaries over kindness? And where do you integrate those two Sphirot perfectly? The third day it will be Tiferet Shebe Chesed, which is start thinking, how do you bring beauty, harmony into your Chesed, into your kindness? How to achieve like the maximum state. And this is ultimate interest. Very interesting, very amazing. So I'm going to tell you more stories afterwards. Let's focus on our algorithm. Now, I drew that's right, I made a bonfire, okay? The bonfire. I am going to make the light, which is going to be the flame of the bonfire. Now, there are two ways. I told you one way was to make just a circle. Another way, what you can do is you can take a circle, you can put a circle on top of the triangle, then you can actually make a spiral out of it, right? Like this opening, spiraling circle. Very interesting also algorithm. So that's another thing. What we're doing now, we are going to add a circle, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want a circle? Do I want a spiral? And I'm thinking for now I just want the circle. Now this is intuitively, if you don't know yet what kind of circle you want, you can just even put your I'm going to teach you this technique very quickly. Put your hand down on your picture. Breathe in and feel the energy of your picture, and turn your hands, and your hands exuberating the energy toward your picture, and you feel that connection between yourself, your intuition, your neshama, your soul, which knows the ultimate mission of why you came to this world, and connecting it to this picture, meaning through our hands we will be expressing ourselves in the way of NeuroGraphic in the picture. So I have an idea already what kind of picture. Now that I did the connection, I got an idea of what kind of picture, what size I want the circle, like is it small, is it big? I wanted this size exactly. Okay, this is going to be my circle. Let's try to see what are we doing with the circle. So the circle is the symbol of flame, okay? The circle gives me that resource that brings the flame to this perfect, you know, the sticks are firing up and they become a flame. The flame gives me light, it gives me energy, it gives me heat, right? What happens then? Then we have, what do we have? We have smoke, right? And smoke can go either completely directly up, or it can actually go around, right? It can go around, it can spread around, right? Smoke is the result of what we do. It's this goodness that we do in the world, and smoke is the result. It's how are we spreading around that goodness. What is the ultimate, you know, it's how others are affected by the smoke. So by the fire, I mean by our fire, right? Whatever we do in life, how are we affecting others? This is the way the smoke, this is a symbol of the smoke, okay? So for example, I am going to take, and smoke will be expressed in the NeuroGraphic line. I want to spread around. Some people want to just directly serve God, but there are some people who, you know, also are social people. They want to also serve others, and that's the ultimate goal of being a human being, right? We all know that it's important to get involved in some kind of community work, whether you do it as a volunteer, whether you do it in your local center, or whether you do it at work. You know, if you're a doctor, that's your ultimate communal service, right? You bring goodness, you heal people, you bring them health back, and that's an important part. And this is what we're drawing. We're drawing about our like place in the society, and how are we spreading that goodness that we're bringing with us to the world, okay? So what I'm doing is, you do your way. You can take any point in the picture and just draw a NeuroGraphic line. Go directly up. Some lines will go like this. It's important, I would like to bring out, to fill up the emptiness, okay? Don't just draw a few lines and that's it. Draw many lines, because these lines are NeuroGraphic lines. This is how we are expressing, and this is how you are bringing yourself, this is how you are expressing yourself in this world. It's important to do it, consciously. Okay. Okay, there you go. I believe this is my smoke. If need be, I can always add more lines. Sometimes I feel like adding more lines, and it's good to add more lines in general. Okay, now I have a nice, good smoke, which is, like I said, a symbol of that, the smoke is the aftermath. It's what's left of your bonfire, what's left of your fire, of whatever it is that you do in this world, whatever it is that you bring to this world. Now again, let's get back to curving out, okay? Breathe in, pay attention to what you are thinking, to your thought pattern, to your emotional pattern, and I will be continuing telling the interesting story. Another thing we celebrate on Lag BaOmer, we're celebrating the life of a big sage, of one of the biggest sage in the in Judaism. His name is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He is the person to whom God has transmitted the knowledge of the Zohar. Zohar is the major component of Kabbalah, and he had a very interesting life. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a disciple of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was a famous sage who lived in the beginning. He lived through the time of the Second Temple, and he actually was a witness to the destruction of the Second Temple. The Second Temple, we know, was destructed in the 70 CE, and Rabbi Akiva lived like at the end of the last era and the very beginning of this era, and he was a major figure also in Judaism. And Rabbi Akiva has an interesting story associated with him, and he also has directly related to the story to what we're celebrating Lag BaOmer, which is the count of the Omer. Rabbi Akiva is a sage that had 24,000 students, and he was a huge rabbi. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was one of his students, and when Rabbi Akiva was caught and killed by the Romans, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, together with two other rabbis, were left, but soon he was caught kind of criticizing the Roman government, and he was like, there was a ransom put for his head, and he had to escape. So what did he do? He escaped with his son, who was of older age, and he and his son together escaped, and they hid in the cave. They hid in the cave for many years. And what did they do in the cave? The cave, God gave them water and food. They did not starve. They were able to eat like carobs. The carobs grew in the cave, and they were eating carobs, and they would drink some kind of liquid, and they were in the state of high meditation while being in the cave. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Rashbi, he's known as Rashbi the acronym for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and his son as well. And what they did was they started meditating, going into deep spiritual meditation, and they achieved such a high state of meditation that they were able to be a vessel for bringing into this world. They were given the secrets of the world, the esoteric, the mystical secret of the world, and even more than that, they were given permission to write down those secrets. That's a book called Zohar. That is a mystical, the major component of the Kabbalah. And when they wrote it down, they were given a chance to come out of the cave, because the Roman head of the province of Judea, which is what the land of Israel was called back then during the Roman times, he died, and the new head of the state did not want to prosecute the rabbis, and what happened is that they came out of the cave, and he came back and he started teaching Judaism again, and he had a lot of followers, he had a lot of students. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was one of the rabbis who kept Judaism alive after the destruction of the temple, after all the Jews having to leave, being taken into the diaspora, being taken into, spreading all over the world and kicked out of their land. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had students, and he taught a lot of Judaism to them, and he brought a lot of mystical component of Judaism to them. And when he died, he told his students, remember, my death is not a reason for sadness. My death is a reason for happiness. Do you know why? Because I am dying completely fulfilled. I fulfilled my mission in this world. My soul does not have to come back anymore, because I fully fulfilled my mission in all aspects. In spiritual, by living alone for many years and meditating and bringing this amazing work called, Kabbalah Zohar, that explains how to practice in this world so you can achieve complete happiness and you can reach the mission of your soul. And I told his students, I'm going to pass away on a very special day. That day should be your holiday. And we did. That day was something that we celebrate as Lag BaOmer. A special day. When we stop, it's the 33rd day. Remember, we have 50 days, 49 days to Shavuot. So on 33rd day, which is, more than a half mark, and Sphira connection to this day is Od, which means, like somebody, which means complete, not just respect, but rather complete. Od means, I'm trying to remember the word, somebody who is very aware of why he or she is here, and somebody who's very conscious. That's a word. Conscious, complete consciousness in the world. So today's Sphira is consciousness inside the consciousness. Od should be Od. Od inside of Od. Od is something that a person does consciously. It's somebody consciously brings something into this world or achieves something in the world. Yes, so that's why on this day we celebrate. We don't celebrate his death, but rather we celebrate his life, because he says that he's dying, he's going away happy and fulfilled. And that is the ultimate goal for every human being in this world, right? We come to this world and we are living this life to fulfill all the missions that we are given. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did exactly that. And when we celebrate, we transcendently try to bring his energy, his resources that he gave to the world, to his nation, through his books. And when we make a bonfire, which as we said is symbolic of a human being, right? The soul, the fire, the energy, and we celebrate his life through making the bonfire, which is symbolic of the energy that the person brings into the world. So this is the this is our work. So now that we finished drawing, right? We drew the bonfire, we drew the smoke, and we drew the circle. What are we doing now? We are bringing our resources. Now, the resources, look at your resources. Whatever your goals, they go on top because they're the future. This is a scheme that I showed you, the schematic visualization, right? Future, present, past, okay? In the bottom, we are drawing resources that will help us achieve our goal, okay? For example, what is my resources? What am I using to achieve my goal to, develop and implement successfully a series of courses as a certified instructor and coach in NeuroGraphica? One of my major sources is, of course, being a certified instructor in NeuroGraphica. So I'm going to put a circle for that, okay? You're putting a circle and you are curving it out. Okay? Curve it out. Curve it out. Okay, we will add color later. Okay, one circle, that's my my knowledge as a psychologist. Another knowledge that I have is my knowledge as an educator. Intuitively I'm drawing a bigger circle. Okay, whatever comes, I'm taking it. Okay, again, what are we doing? Curving it out. By the way, there is a way you can write it down inside your circle, whatever you're saying. I'm not, I am, okay. I don't find it important for me at this point to mark in any way the resources that I'm bringing as my past. I will mark my future resources, whatever we wrote in the list, as a numbers. And so curve out your picture while you're going through it. While you're curving out, always think about your topic. Think about what is it that you are thinking. How is this resource going to help you? Okay? How will my resource as an educator, my ability to pass the knowledge from my mind to the understanding of others? Okay? Okay, yeah, absolutely, excellent. So this is what we're going to do. That's the next circle. What else? What other past resource that I would like to use? It's my knowledge of psychology. So actually, I'm thinking this is probably my knowledge of psychology. This is my knowledge of education. My knowledge of NeuroGraphic, I'm thinking, my certification is actually much bigger. Like, this is too small, I'm thinking. I will use it for psychology research. For my research, my psychology resource, I have a degree in psychology, I have a degree in education, I have a lot of experience in education. I've been successfully educating children for the last 22 years, and I loved it, and I've been achieving a lot of things, and now I'm moving on into a different realm, but it's still education. It's still bringing out and helping people learning, acquiring the knowledge that will help them. And it's NeuroGraphica, and this is the resource on NeuroGraphica, and I'm going to curve it out, and then I'm going to move on and put all my resources on top as a way to achieve them. Okay, so again, you see what happened. We are using the spiritual connections in our life, in this case the holiday, the Jewish holiday, with which I'm very deeply and directly connected as a practicing Orthodox Jew. I truly do believe that all the holidays are resources for our soul, and I am using this as a resource in our life. Okay, curving out and thinking this resource. How is it helping? How is it a resource? How do I use it as a resource, and how do I use it as a way to achieve everything? Okay. Okay, excellent. So now I'm going to add some resources to the future. Okay, the resources that we wrote out, start adding to your future and your presence. Okay, remember the middle is the present, the top is the future. Some resources, some goals. The resources here are resources that will help you implement your general goal, your quest. Okay. Some of them, let's say you would want more in the future, you know, some in the near future, some in the, you know, long distance future, and some you want right now, in the present, now, like today, tonight, tomorrow morning, you know, and that's something that you're going to put in. Like number one, I have developing the series for the basic user and all the major algorithm of NeuroGraphic that we'll be presenting in NeuroGraphica America School. I'm doing it now, like I'm in the middle of developing it right now. You know, implementation. So I'm going to put a circle right here. Okay. Curve it out, think about it. Let yourself, let your mind wander and let your mind go on. When you talked about the resource, while you're drawing, you know, let your mind figure out the way. How are you going to use this resource? How will it help you? Okay. So I'm going to put all the resources. Number two will be the Jewish content series of classes. Putting that here. Where you're putting your resource, like I said, it's more a combination of mental, right? Like I put this in the near future, and also intuitive, like I put it on this side as opposed to the right side. That's pure intuition. Don't know why often. Sometimes I use it consciously, I choose, and sometimes I don't. Okay. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now, third number is going to be number one. Number two, my third content is integration of interesting practices such as Grove's mattresses. Will be in the near future, right here, very near future, within like a week, I would say. We will be implementing the 6 sections. We'll be presenting videos on this. Okay. I said, I'm taking my time, and I advise you to do the same. Take your time while you're curving out. Figure out, where does this resource stand now? How are you implementing it? Where is it going, and how is it coming? All of these questions, figure it out while you're curving them out. Curving out is a meditational process. It allows you to go into your thoughts and bring in your physical part with it by breathing. Breathing is an important integral part of grounding. And also be aware of your emotions. Okay, this is number 3. I'm going to put my resources. Number 4, You see, now I feel like I'm going to connect number 4 and 5 and make it 1. Just number 4. Number 4 I'm going to put here. See, my hand went here, but I'm consciously choosing to put it here. It's the financial aspect of all of these questions, and I am choosing consciously to bring it closer to the present, not just leave it in the future. No, I'm bringing it consciously to the present right now as we talk. Okay. Okay, pull it out, think about your resource. Now number 4. Okay. This is going to be, it's going to be number 5. It's going to be here. Okay, this is number 5. It's right here in the near future. I look at it as. Okay, again, curving out. Pay attention to your breathing. And also pay attention to your Okay, we did this, right? Now, what are we doing next? We are doing next number, it's going to be number 5, right, instead of the 6. Next will be number 6. This will be number 6. Number 7. Okay, almost done. Excellent. Okay. Number 6 is going to be, also I want to add something in the present. I'm going to add the circle right here. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that the circle, although it looks a little outside of my, my picture, my smoke, my present, my fire, I'm going to add some neurographic elements, this neurographic line that will go through it and bring it closer to the main, picture, the main idea. So now it's actually implemented within. Do you see what happened? I didn't want to keep it like as an outsider. I wanted to bring it in here. See what happened? Adding few neurographic lines allows you to integrate the picture into your presence. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now, what's going on now? What do we have left? Going to be number 6, and we have one more, number 7. I'm setting myself a personal goal. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to draw it right here inside the fire. This is my personal goal for my personal spiritual growth. I would like to implement on an everyday basis personal meditation and personal praying goal that I have. And one more goal I have for somebody I know, somebody who's close to me, my family member, and I am going to put that, so right here inside the flame, right here. Get out like this so you can see. Okay, this is excellent. Now we brought out all the resources. We're going to add the color and start adding color and bringing the emotional happiness into the picture. So now we are going to add colors. We added all the resources. You can add more resources, by the way. Like I'm going to add colors. I will be adding more resources as I'm coloring. Like, you know, I feel like now I'm looking at my resources in the bottom, and I feel like I need to add one more circle on the bottom, and that's what I'm doing. So you can do that too. You can add resources as you find necessary. So I'm going to curve out the circle that I just added. That's done. Now I'm going to start adding colors already, actually. I'm quite eager to start adding colors. I'm very excited about colors. Like, I think I know what colors theme I want. Okay, probably adding one more circle I see here. So curving this out, and I'm thinking, what could this resource be? This resource can be actually a miracle resource. Which is a resource you don't necessarily know what it is, but it does exist there. It's an extra resource that God will give you. Okay, so we are done with the resources. Coloring. I am quite eager to add coloring. You can also start adding coloring. Choose colors based on your preferences. I am using oil pastels. That's what I've been using lately. You're welcome to use what you want. People, sometimes I have different needs. I went through highlighters, pencils, to gel pens. Now I am into oil pastels. So you use the coloring of your choice. So while I will be coloring, I am going to be telling you a story that we were discussing earlier. Right, so I think we finished telling you the story about Lag BaOmer, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away, and then he said, please be happy on my birthday. And that's why all over the world people celebrate Lag BaOmer. Okay. So I'm going with a thematic. I'm thinking what color, and I'm having a theme in my mind. I am going to color this, letting myself color it in, and I will get back to you later. I want to do some quiet coloring meditation and advise you to do the same. It's very good when you color to allow yourself to quietly meditate on your resources, on your work, and just enjoy the process of coloring. Allow yourself to have a creative flow. Okay, welcome back, friends. So this is my finished picture. I wanted to show it to you. Yeah, this is my fire. This is what I made. I made resources on the bottom. They're more like greenish kind of type. And over here I made, some kind of flame. I'm adding some more red. And on the top, the top resources are blue style. Thinking of adding some more red to this one, right? Say even orange, yeah. Making my flame more flaming. And yeah. to show you my work. Okay. Yeah, so this is my picture, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some last finishing touches. I want to add something. Not sure yet, to be honest. I'm adding anything or not. Yeah, I think I'm going to add some silver lining at this part. Yep, this is going to be my last finishing touches on my picture. Yeah, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I am inviting you to join us for more classes in NeuroGraphica Americas, and let's make the world better through drawing. Okay, yep. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your own drawing. Put the pictures in the group. We would love to see them. And have a blessed day.